What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday stream. The master of Szechuan delights. Good to see you, Asterbait, Mr. Bob. Bloby's here. Bob just converted from a Twitch Prime sub to a Tier 1 sub. Asterbait, I owe you some emotes in response. Always make sure you keep a Chinese gardener. They're the best. I think you just probably heard that. Alright. I'm going to move the screen very slightly, folks. So do not feel ill. Alright. There's no way I'm accepting Marat's challenge first, even though I should. I need at least one warm-up game before facing the Morwa, otherwise known as the, he's the one who lays in wait, trying to spring the trap on me. The BS 27. Morwa will have to wait one moment while I get warmed up against BS 27. Only 5+3, guys. Without further ado, competing with Norway chess here. I saw John Spielman is doing commentary for lichess, I guess. All right, BS, let's do it. I think this move is best played against d6, bishop c4. That's the only place where it's really appropriate. It's clearly appropriate to play bishop c4. When black plays the Sicilian with d6. Otherwise, it's inappropriate. This is inappropriate, Bob, and suited perfectly for you. But at the same time, like, you know, white is white, and if white wants to put his bishop on c4, there's not anything really special I can do to take advantage of said. Here I've played a greedy move. I've done stuff like, let's see, queen a5 check, queen e5. That's crazy. That'd be crazy. Queen a5 check. Knight c3, that's nothing. No. Queen a5 check is always bad. Resist the temptation. Good to see my friends here. Morwa will wait for the ambush. One game, please. Fuchsia from the European continent. Bloby and Fuchsia. I hope that we get more of our friends from Europe that can tune in due to the 12:30 stream. Alright, that's a lot of pieces that are unprotected. Queen a5 check, now very tempting. Bishop d2. We can do it for reals now. The ultra greedy. Does it just win a pawn straight up? Greed is good. The greed is good variation. You've heard of God is good? God is great. Greed is great. Women's candidates are on. I did not know that, Fuchsia. Fuchsia being a woman. More attuned to such things. But I should know that. I haven't noticed, because I'm simply not that up-to-date chess-wise. Nothing against women. I don't really know what's happening in the chess world, period, except for Norway, which is like massive. The biggest chess event in a while. Okay, so knight takes c6, queen e4 check. Multi-threat move. Hitting everything. Blunk, blunk, blunk. He resigned. It's inappropriate, Bob. I shouldn't accept, you know, you should be, like, allowed to decline a resignation. I decline your resignation. I don't accept it. I do not accept resignation. It's not that bad. You lost a pawn, basically. This is an unacceptable resignation. Simply one pawn down and he resigns. Like, I'm not Kamsky. Okay. Don't resign one pawn down, Bob. Not enough. She want to go play some poker while resigning against Kamsky. All right, Marwa's here. If you want to allow me to resign against you over the board, I'll flip the board on you. Tit for tat. Well, I don't think technically you can refuse resignations, but I just, you know, if it was like someone that I'm working to help to improve, I'd be... It upsets me to see Bob resign early. Santa Ana. What are we going to do here? Gotta take our time because feels like the opening is the weakest point with Marwa's game. But I'm playing the Aliekin. It's not my main defense. Probably I shouldn't even do that. I mean, if I want to beat Marwa, I should really take him on in my best opening. You know, the Sicilian defense. Last time I lost a C3 Sicilian against him with a reasonable position. Aliekin. H3. Logical, but somewhat time consuming. What's the plan here? What's the plan, Bob? Depends on what white does. You have bone spurs, right, Bob? All right. No Trump jokes today. It's like, it is getting kind of boring. I'm going to try something a little bit unusual here, C6. I don't know why, but I am. Black is very solid. Chameleon of pawn structures. Guys, we're taking 5+3 challenges. Could be snake bite. Long-term reaction to snake bite. I mean, that's the first sign of snake bite. Long-term. Snake bite long-term poisoning. Oh, my favorite square, the C8. Drifting a little bit passively. Playing too fast? Too fast, too passive, or both? What do you guys think? Slagerized. A new quote. Be careful, you might get slagerized. I laugh at the stupidest things, don't I? Alright. Never play H6. Just in case you might have to play this later. Knight G4. Better break the queen side before it's too late. I was just telling one of my students not to do this. Don't play on the wrong side of the board, student. Uber driver posting humorous video with Max Uva and Capablanca in it. You are all my students. Try to make you better people. Because I'm that kind of person. Alright, no, seriously, A5, B5, pawn takes C5, pawn takes C6. That's unclear. I don't want that to happen. A5, B5. Looking for a moment where I could sacrifice a piece, for some sort of tactical thing. You'd think like he'd be a little overextended with F4, D4, C5. No, there's never any sort of tactic for me. Just one solid move after another with Marois. Incredible. Knight must move. No space. I'm getting calls. All right. A4, wow. Man, F5. I'm going to regret this. What a space advantage for white. Look at his score against me out of the last 4 games. 3.5 out of 4. He's suddenly unbeatable. This is kind of a tough call. I want to put the knight on F5. No, I feel like he's misplayed this. Surprising. You don't understand F5. This is my best position in a long time. Well, it's not easy. I'm threatening to play King E6. I don't know. I mean, at least I have a strong pawn on E4. He's got a kind of bad bishop. I think that justifies his E5 pawn. Knight. Knight! It's a knight. That is a knight. It's not a pawn, it's a knight. Said pawn meant knight. He had a great position and he kind of went too far with like G5. Knight must go. At least his queen is tied down to that pawn there. Very important. Factor. Good knight versus bad bishop. King E6. Threatening knight takes D. I've also got knight h4 on tap. This is looking pretty good for black now. But it's not over till it's over. Big fork. What would Blubby do? What would Blubby do? Change direction. Fork wins the exchange. I'm looking for even more. The knight is worth more than a rook. Perhaps. Perhaps not. We can win the exchange under the right conditions as well. Conditions. Oh, I see now he's got e6. Check, of course. Still winning the exchange. There must be no access codes. Do you know the access code? Now it's just over. Inaccurate to the last. Fortunate to take this down. Is my rook trapped yet? No, he had a huge position. He was virtually winning. Good D. Very fortunate to win a game. Let's see how bad it was. He's rematching me. All right, guys. Thank you, Mawa. How bad was it at its worst? I wonder. Let's say right about here. Move 21. How big is white's advantage? Plus 0.4 only. Didn't like f5. Someone cringed when I played f5. G4 was a little too wild. I guess this exchange on e4 was really bad. Perhaps I was never like more than like 3/4 of a pawn worse or something like that. All right. Not a good opening. All right, take back is up with 5+3. Everyone's welcome to challenge to 5+3. Good D. An expert on dialects. What are we going to play? You cringed, but it worked out. Thought somebody cringed. That's true. Cringe-worthy move. But I'm putting my pawns in the correct color, at least. We're giving him, you know, the big knight on e5. But it's sort of all or nothing. Fang is not here. Fang is... I don't know what he's doing out in the garden. Gardening. Planting new plants. Zhou Fang. Studying. He's too shy to be on the stream. But he listens to the stream. Then he gives me input. Gives me input after. Better check the plants to see what's growing on now. Well, it's legal here. Hopefully. Just make sure we're not over our quota. You know, might as well put the ground to some good use. D e5, queen e5 check, queen d1. So I'm supposed to take this. I mean, this hardly seems critical. I mean, e takes d5 is somewhat of a mistake. Everyone believes in e5 for the most part. Ratings card. Is trading queens against Sladgie a good idea? No, I have very good score if you do the statistics, what's it called? Analytics. My trading queens is, once you trade queens against me, you're in big trouble. I have a very high winning percentage when I trade queens. Morwan knows that, and he did a good job of avoiding it for as long as he could. Morwan knows not to trade pieces, although he's a good endgame player for his young age. He does try to keep the pieces on when he knows that he has the initiative, which is absolutely correct. Check. Good idea if you want to practice groveling and gradually worse endgame. Always a pleasurable experience. So, knight check. There's no substitute for calculation, kids. Knight check takes, bishop takes. I like this. If knight e5 at the end of the day, then I have rook e8, king d2. I actually analyzed that. Knight e5, rook e8, king d2. Bishop takes b1, knight takes f7. I was literally looking at that. This pawn is poisoned like a snake. Snake biting Bob's leg. We don't like knight e5 though. That's not a friend of the stream. White square bishop. Chess for Tigers. Good book. Simon Webb. Me practicing groveling in a worse endgame is something he talked about for real. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, now there's the b6, the matter of the b6 square. The matter at hand. Someone on sound. Was someone on sound here? He would like that. So the matter at hand. Do not let him trade off your bishop pair, first of all. What am I doing here? Calculate. Uber driver. Okay, Uber driver brings up an interesting point. I was talking about this with someone the other day. He says, I think when you play a higher rated guy, you need to muck it up. There are some people who believe in that philosophy, and there's other people who think you should try to keep it simple and grovel. You know, the truth of the matter is, I'm not sure which one is right. Always playing a stronger player is an unpleasant experience, I suppose. Playing a strong player is always an unpleasant experience. Give me my two bishops. Do we want to keep the bishop on a6? Is it going to get boxed out anyway? And does it matter if he even castles at this point? The full two bishop massage. Keep the support, keep the strong, like, outpost squares away from the white knights. Take away d4 later. Watching for e6. I don't want you to trade off my bishop, man. My bishop, man. Kind of abandoning the open file there. Okay, it's 0-1 for Rubinstein, but it's not that easy. Not that easy. 0-1 for a lot of masters, but he, you know, it's not that bad. He can survive a long time here. Best strategy is make yourself look dumb and take advantage of the underestimation. I think that's a good one, Bob. Excellent practical advice from the psychological standpoint. That's going back to my... I still think you should do the 2 moves in a row, Bob. Make your opponent think you're dumb again. I think that Donald Trump's been using that a little bit to his advantage. Make people underestimate you. Takeback just keeps... by the way, Takeback's rating 1958. What is this? 1960, 1958, 1960, 1950? Those ratings are so close together that it looks like he's doing it on purpose. Here's a chance to go bishop c5, give him one of my bishops for everlasting pressure on e3. Bishop c5, take, knight d4, rook e8, rook e1. It's a minor concession. I feel like keeping the bishop pair is technically the better move. What is it with Merle in 1919? Takeback's got the 1960 thing going on. He couldn't quite get the other two to 1960, apparently. I might be missing something here. He has 5 draws out of the last 7 games against me. Damn, dude. That's solid. What is his bullet rating? 52 games, 1960. Suspicious. I think Takeback has like Smurf accounts. Doesn't have very many games, right? 457 in classical. That's pretty solid, though. It's a lot of games, actually, 457. Especially for classical. But he's suspiciously low number of games in Rapid, Blitz, and Bullet. You'd think there would be more. This must be his classical chess account. And then he has, like, other ones for Blitz. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's got to have other accounts. You didn't just wake up yesterday and be 1960 in Bullet. Arsenal fan, what's up? It's hard to believe you never got higher than that, though, because you're pretty fast, man. I mean, Bullet is, you know, more speed than skill, I think, but it takes both. Keep the bishops on the board. I like that knight. Begin the massage therapy. Is my rook trapped yet? Suspiciously close to trap, but I have the pressure on e3. Can't actually go knight c6 without dropping something. Oh, even if he did, I can go rook e6. Knight c6 does nothing. Never mind. Yeah. You can play this move. Just want to keep the bishops on the board. You don't want to give him outposts. Keep pressure on his weak points. F5 is close to working. G5 is interesting. You're going to need like H6. Wow. A tremendous practical try. Only seconds left. Wow. Into the pin. Can you believe that? Damn it, Jerry. You have another knight where that one came from? At least he had the decency to start raising his rating up a little bit. He's surprisingly strong. Whew, almost a major mistake there. Man, this guy is really strong. He's still underrated at 1958. He seems to get stronger all the time. Merle's other secret account. Now we've got it. But I mean, that's an expert, USCF expert strength game. Okay, lots of challenges. Fossify Supreme XD, Save a Dog, Blubix, Goth. Goth doesn't have enough games? Goth does, okay. Hiroku. Everyone's casual 5+3, so it's cool. Nicely grinded. Well, I mean, there was a lot of nervous moments with those knights forking all around. I mean, it's very easy to overlook some kind of weird temporary knight sacrifice, double check, winning a pawn on a double knight fork, or whatever you want to call it. It's cool. I like being black every single game. But the two bishops is like my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do, the anti-Esserman. The variation. The anti-Esterman variation. Oh, I blundered. Can't believe it. Fell into the Smith-Morra trap. This is refuted. H3. Triple exclam. Presumptuous for an IM to write a book, Bob? Are you kidding me? There are people who are like not even title players who write books. It's like there's a lot of presumptuous people out there. No, I don't think so. I mean, in the history of chess, like a lot of totally untitled people have written books. So, no, I don't think so at all. I mean, technically, I think it just depends on the quality of the book. You know, it's nice if it's a grandmaster, but you know, I think a lot of untitled players have written good books. Nesbenov was an IM. Yeah, there's a lot of Soviet era players who didn't get their title, didn't become grandmasters. But Nesbenov was not an author. I mean, I know that you know that, Arson. That's not your point, but just while we're talking about it. Yeah. There is a good collection of Nesbenov's games, and he annotated some of them. But for example, you don't have... I mean, there's a lot of strong players who never became GMs. But I think it's like coaches, you know, the same as being a good coach. You don't have to be a grandmaster to have great understanding. All right, Falsifigo. I drifted into a passive position here. I don't know much about this player. That's the problem. I am asleep here. He played H3. Ten games does not give me enough information to know anything about my opponents, especially when the games are spread out over months or even a year. If you think that I know anything about you after 10 games, you're sadly mistaken. I did have a very similar game against another player recently. I wonder if it was the same guy. I didn't think it was Falsifigo. I thought it was a random that I hadn't played almost any games with. Taimanov was absolutely a grandmaster of the highest caliber. Yeah. No, of course Taimanov was a GM. There might be someone else that you're thinking of. Bob suggested Queen B8. Dubious. You can also play Queen A5, but there the queen has the tendency to get attacked by B4 or something. Perhaps Queen A5 was appropriate here. A3 and B4. You tried and tried when I got the book 4 years ago and failed and felt bad. I had a look for the first time yesterday. What's that? The Basman openings primer with a chapter on the Smith-Morra. At the end, he says, only one move refutes this position. If you can find it, you shouldn't be playing it. Basmania. But it'll be like Queen A5. I'm anti-Queen A5. So, I had another player who did something crazy. What was it? G3? No, you can't do G3 here. I mean, I think that taking on E5 is a big mistake. That's the main thing. So, you can actually retract your bishop and then move your knight and somehow engineer F4, F5. I mean, it's a long process, but it's the only way to play. Who is Falsifigo? We don't know. Maybe they've been in the chat, I think, but you know, we're all anonymous here. I appreciate players like Blobby, Arsenal fan, Nefedov. You know, I'm not saying it's mandatory for you guys to be open about your identities, but it's nice when we get, you know, players who are willing to expose their name. I mean, I was telling somebody yesterday that I think that I had a game in a tournament where someone prepared for me based on my lichess games, and obviously that wouldn't be possible if I kept my identity secret. or played like all my serious games like on a Smurf account. But it's a nice maneuver by Fossifigo. Very positional. Pawns should protect pawns. Pawns should eat pawns, not people. Sometimes I think I should have stayed more anonymous. Well, Fuxia, you're kind of in the in-between category. Not overly anonymous, but not completely anonymous, which is cool. All right. Hopefully Fuxia doesn't have stalkers. Man, what am I doing here? Rook c8. Queen a7 check. Bishop c5 check. Bishop a6. I don't like any of these moves. Getting a little bit nervous here. Superb play by White. I agree. I mean, it's an unpredictable player. I don't know anything about them, but like 1500 bullet, 1700 rapid, 1900 classical, 1700, 1800 blitz. You know, he didn't play the opening superbly in terms of the move knight takes e5, but everything else was good. Play the board, not the opponent. I disagree. I mean, my philosophy is that you should use any advantage, you know, that's within the bounds of sportsmanship that you can muster. Colonel Mustard. But he's continuously making strong moves. Very positional style. And it's strange for a player who plays the Smith-Morra to play in a positional style, I think. Someone on sound does it too, and that's an indication to me that you're playing the wrong opening. If you play like tactically on the white side of a Queen's Gambit or positionally on the white side of the Smith-Morra, I mean, you really probably are playing the wrong opening. I invite positional style. Maybe I do, but I think that's just your perception because I'm a titled player. You know, I'm not playing like a maniac, like an average 1800 or something. I have a relatively positional style. I don't play, you know, crazy too much. Now we've got some tactics. I wasn't sure if he could try something there. 95. Allowing the 92 check. Probably there's some way I can. I was a little bit worried about it. 95, 92 check. That's crazy though, right? King h1, knight takes c1, then some sort of crazy discovery. Fossifigo missed bishop b5. Oh no. It was some sort of computer tactic? Is that what you're saying? He missed the computer tactic. Well, I mean, not too many people on lichess like have memorized books, but if you do play the Smith-Morra, obviously, that would be kind of important. Any kind of major. Generally, people, average players on lichess don't know a lot of opening theory. They're not necessarily. Chess lover. Interesting name. All right, Supreme XD. We don't have to play this game again. All right, Supreme XD. But you're not chess love, I hope. No relation to chess love. Right? I don't know. I forgot. D4, knight f6. Okay. What are we going to play? Right. So bishop g4, rarely played move, but you know, not that easy to refute this. I've considered knight e5. Kind of a rare move again, not easy for white to out of hand like crush this. Alms on Twitch is here. 5-month subscriber streak. Interesting. That makes sense now. Hold on a second here. What is going on? I can't move the screen. God. Sorry guys, technical problem. One of my windows is frozen. Trying to fix it. Alright, we're gonna try knight e5. I'm not sure if this is sound. I had a frozen window and I had to send a message too. Alright, we're all set now. Knight e5, taking a risk here. I think it's okay. If d takes c4, knight g4, queen c4. Bobby says abort. Bishop c8. No, I mean, probably, like a lot of things are playable. Bishop h5, even e6. Sometimes they give up the bishop on g4. Bishop e6 looks solid. That's probably one of the more solid moves. Bishop h5. Oms on Twitch says okay to give it the bishop. I thought you were a Queen's Gambit Decline player, Oms. You dabble in the Slav? We know how good your Queen's Gambit Decline is. The queen belongs on b3. Well, this is a... It's hard to put the queen on b3 in a queen c2 Slav. But I appreciate what you mean. You know, that in the London system type position, yeah, the queen does belong on b3. Right, okay, 97 looks solid. Let's try just developing. Random developing moves. I feel like I'm playing black with an extra move here. Great to see Oms. And thank you for resubscribing. Guys, please support the stream. Bloby's donated 800, Jim with 700, Dragon with 500. Oms on Twitch, Bob Sacamano, Asterbait, Chess Poems, and Percy Hepworth this week. Support the stream. Keep us in business. Okay, solid play by black. I don't know what we're going to do. Now I feel like he's threatening to take on e5. I've seen people play f4, but it's really over the top. Over the top, let's do it. Let's go over the top. Looks like Avrook. I hope Avrook's white. Slightly over the top move, f4. Interesting decision to play bishop g6. All right. Background noises. International Master Joe. He's busy out in the garden. Avrook is white. Don't remember f4 though. That's a bad sign. I mean, I know f4 in these type of positions is a normal move, but it might be something that Avrook doesn't particularly like. It's a risky move. Black can break with c5 at some point to sharpen the game. Did I enslave Joe? No, Joe is fully paid for his services. Barter trade system. He's homeless, so gotta take care of our homeless friends. Knight h5. Uh-oh. That's kind of disturbing. How strong is Supreme XD? I've played 3 games of this player. I'm on Twitch. Thanks for making the... Oh no, not the discussion again. $75 critical. It's crushing. Man, this is a problem. Knight g3 is threatened. Castles, queen h4. We have a serious problem here. Man, that's such a timely move by Supreme XD. Is this Tushar? No, they're 2283 in bullet. What's that about? It's like a bullet specialist. It's rare to see someone who's higher in bullet. What am I gonna do? It's a disaster. It's just like win by force almost. No, bishop f3, knight g3, Alms. We've got a serious problem. He's just going to take my h2 pawn. I mean, it may be a good sacrifice. I don't really see better. But I don't know who this player is. We played only 3 games. Somehow I won all 3. What's this, a forfeit? Oh, he just aborted a game? What is that? Played e5 and accelerated dragon and resigned. That's good. There's that, oh, there's that crazy mate game. And there's some other game where I won. Queen h4 check. g3. Knight takes g3. H takes g3. Queen takes g3 check. Queen f2. Wow, does this work? Well, I mean, this is what Arms was talking about, but I didn't really pay attention to queen h4 check. I think he just didn't really consider this. Obviously, he's a very, very strong bullet player. He just jumped too quickly. Watch out for bishop e7. There it is. Oh my goodness. About to lose on time. Thank God for the increment. He had a perfect score. It's about time. I'm kind of stupid, I think. This would have been appropriate earlier. I mean, he has queen f5. He's not lost or anything. I mean, he's probably lost, like, theoretically, but not lost directly. You're not welcome. All right, let's do it. Complimentary draws are free. Your first complimentary draw is on the house. After that, you have to pay. What? Oh no. You're kidding me, right? That's the last time I play this guy, seriously. He didn't just offer a draw, right? He didn't do that. That didn't happen. I mean, maybe this is a draw somehow. Even if it were, it would be rude to offer a draw. With the point of material down. Well, I think he had play at one point. Arsenal fans like, this is never a draw. All right, too much bullet chess. We're going to try to get through these games all the way through to AMS. Save a dog. Very... What was I going to say? 7 games you've got against me, which isn't bad. I mean, considering the rating differential. I think he was okay at some point, you know, but it's like you'd never offer a draw in the increment game. And in a regular game without increment, he'd be winning on time. Draw has no place there, you know. If you were like some kind of uber sportsman-like person, you could like offer a draw in a non-increment game because you respect your opponent or something and you know that it's really a draw. I don't expect that kind of draw for in a non-increment game, but offer a draw there. It's like ridiculous. All right, not good sportsmanship. Whoops, almost allowed d4. Welcome, guys. Normally I'm streaming in the evenings, but Mondays and Fridays I do earlier, 12:30 like this. So we see this from time to time, this h6 business. What is this? Kind of funny, like knight c6, bishop e6. Most like a 100-year-old form of Tarash. Obviously I can take if I want to. On c5 I kind of gain a half tempo, but he's prevented bishop g5. I feel like it even really matters. Although this allows him to transpose to... It's not really transposing, actually. Talking to myself back and forth, like I'm having a conversation with myself. I'm supposed to be having conversations with you guys. I've got some kind of collar that's like out of control. We're going to have to hit that block button on the cell phone. Maybe Friday's a big day for robocalls. Does anybody notice that? Is Friday a bigger day for robocallers, do you think, than usual, than the average day? Is that like the robocall, the special day for robocalls? Get them in? Like they have a quota or something? So Friday they have to get them all in? I've had like 3 today. Yeah, I know. I'll get the caller thing, but I'm lazy. What can I say? When you play tournaments, you often find you're too tired to analyze the games afterwards. I mean, obviously, you know, the biggest complaint about tournaments is I think anyone over like the age of 21 is feeling it. I mean, in the old days, well, not even old days before I played chess, when tournaments were like 1 game a day, then I could see analyzing the games. But 2 games a day tournaments, Arsenal fan, and it also depends. Are you talking about like team matches, or it depends on what you're talking about? Do you find you're too tired to analyze the games after? Yeah, I mean, if it's 2 rounds a day tournament. But I think if it's a 1 game a day tournament, like a kind of slower pace, then I would say no. I'm not too tired to analyze the game. But honestly, Arsenal fans, some people just live to analyze, like John Watson. It's more important for him, the after the game post-mortem, than the actual game itself. The double round tournaments are brutal. You know, even when I was young, when I was 19 years old, I was exhausted from double round tournaments. I mean, now being a middle-aged person, it's extremely daunting. Though the time controls have gotten a little bit more reasonable. Tempted to sack the exchange, but I feel like this is fancy chess syndrome. Sacking the exchange here. Fancy chess syndrome. This is just not... It's just sacking the exchange to be fancy. It's not really correct. Not really correct. We need to make a constructive move. Man, this is actually okay for black. How did this happen? Just a weird Tarash. Fancy play syndrome. Rook c6, bc6, knight e5, or knight takes d4. I get a pawn, a second pawn, 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 pawn. My knight is on the side of the board. The remains of the very strong bishop there. The remains of the day. Sigh, I don't know what to do. So disappointing. This looks good for Save a Dog. He's an expert in the opening. He's like 2100 in the opening. Knight d1, knight d3 I don't like at all. I think it's a bad suggestion. Alright, we'll do it for dynamism. I don't really like any of the other options, to be honest. It's a blitz game, come on. I feel like this is the only way white doesn't lose the initiative in this position. Arsenal fan, knight c5 was a candidate move. But I don't know what I'm trying to say. Don't know what I'm trying to say. Just trade the queens. Save a Dog, 1692. 1492. Columbus. Keep it lazy. Thanks for remembering that, Uber driver. We have a dealer friend. We call him Sloth David. One of those sloth shirts would be appropriate. Bought my son like a sloth t-shirt. When was that, like 6 months ago we said that? Keep it lazy. Low risk. Maximize profits. Bishop there, knight d7. Come on. Kill his knight. Killer of knights. Must use all the pieces. Rook on the 7th, how? Don't see I'm getting rook on the 7th. Oh man, the landscapers are starting. God damn it, Jerry. Friday. One of my across the street neighbors does Friday landscaping. Thank God the window's closed. They'd be blasting us out. Yesterday was raining, so I had a break. The biggest racket here. There are basically no jobs where I live, so everyone's a landscaper. It's an artificially created economy. F4. Come on, just keeping the pieces. Keep the knight off of g6, off of e5, off of f5, off of d5. You're not allowed to do anything. But my knight is the mystery piece. I'm going to go here, 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 maybe here. Just keep him dancing. Proceed, James. Tread lightly. It's just your perception, James. That's like the other day when the guy called me toxic. I should take him off the banned list. I overreacted. But, you know, one thing I realized personally, when you think that everybody is so sensitive, oftentimes it's you who's thinking that everybody's overly sensitive. I've noticed it about myself. You know, you're like, oh man, why is everyone so sensitive? It's actually just your perception of things in many cases. Anita, welcome. Always look to yourself. Every time I load up Twitch, it asks me to log in details. I never had that problem. Arsenal is extra sensitive. We handle him with kid gloves. I know, that's alright, that's alright. There are certain people who are especially sensitive. Nothing wrong with that. You know, that's your personality. You're an individual. And that's alright, Arsenal fan. We know that you're extra sensitive, and we make special arrangements for the extra sensitive. Oh man, that's a beckoning square, isn't it? David beckoning. David Beckham. Knight d6. Gradually improving. Who needs rooks anyway? It's a beautiful thing. The long-term exchange sacrifice. Now, we have so many places to go in so little time. I don't even know where to begin. Knight e5, knight a5. Just don't want you to exchange that off. I mean, I like your bishop. I respect it. I don't want to see you lose that piece. You know, I want you to have that and enjoy it for the foreseeable future. Don't want to take away your enjoyment of that bishop on e6. There was a fork, but it's guarded by the knight on d6. I mean c8. I want him to have this and hold it in for the rest of his life. Like a marriage. This bishop is yours to have and hold for the rest of your life. Like rook d7 there might be a good move, trying to get active. Yeah, knight a5 might have been bad. I mean, I should have put it in the center on e5. Now f5, obviously, the stuffer. But kind of a committal move. Gives up a hold at e5. Not sure this is right. He's inducing that. Who was it? Oh, Acerbate is like overusing inducements. He's like constantly putting his bishops in like exposed positions, trying to induce his opponents to overextend. Sometimes you can take it too far. It's a positional masterpiece. Prison. It's chess prison for black here. Nowhere to go. Just sit back and enjoy. Where are you going? Gonna sack a piece for 2 pawns? Feeling desperate. It's almost mate, don't worry. Yeah, this is like very bad for black strategically. A scheme. What does that remind me of? Some TV show. Schemes. Now I want to see the position, guys, when I sack the exchange, because I couldn't find another good move. And in all honesty, I feel like if I don't sack the exchange here, it's almost like a defensive move, literally. Like this is almost a defensive move. I could not find a good move in this position. Arsenal suggested knight c5. UberDriver suggested knight e1. I didn't like either one. I looked at queen d3, queen d2. Let's see what the engine says, what the oracle says. Ta-dum! Oh no. No. Don't even joke about it. It was on rook c6. It was on rook c6, and then it changed its mind. It changed its mind on a3 in the last moment. It's got a3 slightly better. But this is a defensive sacrifice, my friends. I don't want to be worse, so I'm taking here. But I don't think you should play bishop takes d4. This was a major blunder. All right, let's move on. Blubix up next, 5+3. I don't like to give up material. I'm very materialistic. Passive, too. Passive aggressive. Right? Right. All right. What are we going to do? I don't want to play against c5, b3 anymore. All right, let's try something crazy. The old... Don't play this in long games, guys. Oh, he played c4. If you're going to play it that way, like, I'm fine with the Panov. For Fuchsia, it's not a Panov yet. Snake Benoni. I've played that for reals. I'll go, you can't do it with this move order, though. How does that work? I want to play like Bishop d3 or something funky, just to avoid theory. So it is a Panov. The early c5. Blobik's playing a reversed form of Tarrasch. I mean, it may be that like e5, doing the impossible, dare to do the impossible, dream the impossible dream with e5. Bob, are you suggesting e5? Bob's suggesting e5. Knight e5, knight e5, d e5, knight e4. To do the impossible. I like that, Bob. Spirited. Bob totally didn't mean it in this position, but I just for fun wanted to. This is totally speculation. I know this is a key idea, though, with white and a Tarrasch to blast them with e4. So it may turn out to be sound. Good suggestion. Good accidental suggestion, Bob. The best ideas come subconsciously. That was Bob's subconscious calculation kicking in. e4, knight e5. I feel like I'm losing the initiative already after bishop b5. Bishop g4. I think it's too late for that, though. Bishop g4, queen a4, probably already advantage to white, so I think I'm committed to this. Committed to this. Second exchange again. I just was going to play the like lame bishop d7 next. I don't really have a better suggestion. It should be sufficient, though. Sufficiently boring. I don't know, Bob, but I had a really good brown rice breakfast thing at Foxwoods yesterday at the buffet. Some kind of Hawaiian breakfast thing, according to International Master Joe. It was like an egg with hamburger and brown rice. Really weird. Knight takes d7, queen d7. I like this. We've got the space in the center. Bob accidentally suggested the most dynamic move. His subconscious does some crazy things sometimes. Bloby's still very solid attacking system here for white. Let's get castled. I think the position's about equal. We'll see how Blubix is a good player. He's experienced. He understands correct strategic play. There's a little element of overextension here. Yes. The element of overextension. We have different philosophies. Bishop g5 was suggested, pressurizing d5. There's Arsenal fans suggesting f3. the pivotal break. I gotta like the f3. Blovix played rook b1. He's going for like the full Monty on the queen side with b4. No fear. I like the Arsenal fan's suggestion. That looks really good. I mean, all the suggestions are reasonable. A6, weakening some squares. But what's the plan, guys? Knight d8. Knight d8. I mean, do we have time for knight? Excuse me, e8. I meant to say knight d8 loses a queen. Knight e8. Man, it would be nice, but that's just not realistic. It is not realistic, kids, to play knight e8 here. We're just not that in control. I don't mind if you guys suggest moves, but a little delay is always good, appreciated, in suggestions. A little delay. Queen c7 just getting off the pin. I don't want to use up all my time. Lazy man's lobster. I mean, a6 might come in handy, slowing down b5. I don't mind the exchange so much. If he has to retreat, I get my tempo. I think this is okay. The pawn's on the right square. Stook suggested b6. We had this discussion today with one of my students about attacking the base of the pawn, or the head of the pawn chain. I gotta believe that b6 is not good here. All right, you miss enough as it is. So there's the queenside expansion pack. Now I want to be playing f5. It's a race. Knight e8 is great. a4, b5, ab, ab. It's coming to a theater near you. Is it too slow to play like that, essentially? You get the feeling. Knight there, a4, knight c7. I kind of like this. I don't have a better plan. It was risky the way I played this opening. If I lose, I'm going to fall on my own sword. But I felt that e5 was correct. We'll check after the game. Yes. Planning knight c7, stopping b5, discouraging b5. Ultimately opening up the roller. I'm trying to play knight c7 and knight e6. That's the comfy square for the black knight. That's where the knight wants to be. That's its dream location, where it puts pressure on the pawn on d4. The pawn that I never have a definition or I don't have a vocabulary word for that kind of pawn. It's not a backward pawn, but it's always like this massive liability. Like, what do you call that pawn? What would Hans Kmock call this pawn on d4? There's a very good old book called Pawn Power in Chess. And Kmock gave all different like weird names. A lot of people don't like it that he gave these made up names to pawn structures and stuff, but what would you call that pawn on d4? Besides a weakness. I always tell the stupid joke that it's not a joke, but I talk about weaknesses, right? We say if a weakness falls in the forest, you know, does it make a sound? You know the joke, right? If a tree falls in the forest, does it make it sound? If a weakness can't be attacked, is it a weakness? You know, that's the deep concept that I'm trying to allude to. In other words, you can point to the pawn on d4 and say, this is a weakness, kids, look. But if the weakness can't be attacked, it ceases to be a weakness. That's my philosophical argument for the day. And I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, guys, please support the stream. Bloby, Jim, Dragon BC. Thanks, everybody. More philosophical tidbits on your way soon. If white played f3, I would have gone with f3. It's attacking the head of the pawn chain. It's a controversial decision. I liked it because I felt like black couldn't support it really well. We got knight e6. This night is a happy night. This is starting to look a little bit like Blubby's game against Nakamura that he submitted. Go back. You are banned. Banished. Okay, I have to think. Blobix is getting a little bit of time pressure. I mean, f6 was kind of an automatic move, but it doesn't do anything. I don't know what he's thinking about. Nothing to think about there. We're playing like Blobix's structure. When Nakamura was white against Blobix, different structure, some similarities. He was expanding with f5, e4, and a Sveshnikov. It's not the same position at all. Now my d5 is looking kind of sad. So it's all in on the king side. I went all in blackjack the other day. It was kind of funny. I won both my all-ins in blackjack. Very fortunate. So, blackjack all-in stories. f4, queen g4. Brilliancy. Damn it. He has that queen g4. But I've got to do something. I see a plan. Got to confuse him with random suggestions. h5. Look out for h5 when you play queen g4. Crashing through. Blubix is crashing through. Trade for his bad bishop. This kind of sucks, but it weakens the tree on d4. Timber! The pawn is falling here, but not really. Will it make a sound? Will it make a sound when it falls? Bishop takes f4. How dare you play a move I didn't calculate. I wanted to play knight c5. I was trying to sneak that on him. I do have that. Knight c5. Queen d7, knight d7 with a decent position. Or I could just take on d4, which almost wins a piece. Momentary lapse of time. Dropped a queen. Blubix fell for the queen snap. He didn't expect knight c5. He must not be listening to the stream. He would have been forewarned about that. Kind of a cheap win. Alright. We'll go back to the opening just for a moment and see if Bob's suggestion of e5, brilliancy, is actually the best move. What do you guys think? Attack the base of the pawn chain? Do we attack the tree on... I mean, okay, Uber Driver is suggesting g6. Uber Driver is... Also, bishop g4 is a good move. I doubt that e5 is going to be the best move. g6 and bishop g4. Sound chess, totally correct. But the accidental e5. Dubious gambit. So knight e5, d e5. I was going to play knight e4. I don't understand. So this is apparently just not good. Wow. Just not good. Just not enough. Garbage. So it's just essentially garbage. In French. With white it would be better. Uber Driver is an expert in the Fajarowitz. It's a Fajarowitz. It is. It's a little too much, guys. Unfortunately. So we should stick to something sound. Okay. Anyway, it was a fun game. Let's get on with it. I've got to at least get down to OMS. We've got an hour left in the stream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rated from Steve. I don't accept rated challenges. It's just too hard. Alright, I'm guaranteeing like this 6 games, but that's the maximum. It looks like, unless they're real short. A 6-game guarantee in place. Guys, please support the stream. Great game against Blubix. It was fun. Don't forget Sunday Simul. It's going to be 5:30 p.m. 25 players on Sunday. I'm in a good mood today. Goth Angel Sinner 666. from Uganda. Great name. Since I play for evil, I used to drink for good. Now I drink and play for evil. That joke is sort of out of context here, but anyway, it's still fun. Anyway, bishop c4. Quit playing for good, now I play for evil. One of our standby jokes. Have to go, catch you next time, Uber driver. Good luck in your travels, in your Ubers. Pichu, good to see you. Knight on e4, not an asset in the last case. Yeah, I'm getting trapped with f3 for real in some positions. Anita subscribed to tier 3. Wow. Our second tier 3 sub. That's insane. Anita, tier 3 sub. Wow. Busting the tier 3 sub. That is crazy. I got distracted. Alright, I'm supposed to play like queen f3? Wow. Tier 3 sub. Acerbate's the only other tier 3 sub, I think. Blobix is tier 2. Zenchess was tier 2. Queen f3, I think, is a move here. I thought Arsenal fans said F3 guarantees need selfies on demand. If that was the case, Bob would have subscribed to tier 3 long ago, Arsenal fan. You know that. He would have been in there. That's tier 4. It's like Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. Notice that tier 4 is not mentioned anywhere. Secret subscriber level. Tier 3 guarantees. Drinking club. What stays in drinking club stays in drinking club. Queen f3, knight on bd7, chess club, whatever. They're the same thing, right, Arsenal fan? So someone asked the other day about sacrificing on e6. You know, you don't want to give up the minor pieces for rook and pawns, like usually this early in the game. It's almost always good for the minor pieces, but you got to at least give passing thought to that. This is probably a strange move order. Knight c5. Alright, so that's one way to get your knight to c5. Occasionally you see knight a6. Again, thank you for the tier 3 subscription, Anita. That is insane. I feel like we're still in book here. I hope this isn't a blunder. It's a 1457, so there's this... Although I normally don't take challengers, you know, with less than 100 games. He's got 147. It's a new opponent for me, though. I think they challenged me before I didn't get to play them. The Pool Functioning Alcoholics Club. It's not just that, it's like the Pool Functioning Unemployed Alcoholics Club, right? Bishop h6. We have a lot of those clubs here too. Similar clubs. It's worldwide. Chess is an international phenomena. I'm about to have some sort of heart attack. Bishop h4, queen g4. It's all good. I didn't calculate it, obviously. This is close to theory, but it might not be quite right. Now he's like setting up bishop h4. But man, goodbye d5 square. The end of the world as we know it. Right? Do you guys remember that song? I think that's what we're looking at here. The ultra cheapo bishop h4 winning a piece. Knight f5, bishop f5, pawn f5 looks okay. And there's also knight f5, knight e4, knight e7 check, which should be okay. But what concerns me is the decision between whether to play knight f3, just kind of keeping all the pieces on the board, preventing said bishop h4, or, you know, the simplifying knight f5. I mean, it would look a little more aggressive to play this. So Arsenal fans suggested knight d5 looks strong. Pardon? Okay. I don't... That's beyond me. That's a full-on piece sacrifice. Okay, I guess you mean in general. Yeah, I mean, it's coming. You don't mean to play like knight d5 right away when my d4 knight is going. Arsenal's talking generalities. Voluntarily redundant. Nice. Good to see Arsenal fan in a good mood today. Bishop takes f5. Pawn takes f5. You know, there's always like bishop h4, bump the queen up to g4. I think that's good for me. This is basically a very strong position for white now. He's given up d5. The most instructive chess games ever played. I recommend it all the time. It's one of those old Dover books, but there are 2 games in there where the d5 square and the Sicilian goes. That's the basic premise. Bloby knows, like the Sveshnikov, the theory is you give up the d5, but you play around it. You have to have compensation for giving up this d5 square. What's your compensation for giving up the d5 square? The most vital square on the planet, in the planet, on the planet, near the planet. Excuse me. Black hanging on. Too good. Too good for 1400. Knight e4. d5. Oh man. Knight to e4, d5. The calculation's getting kind of... After that tier 3 sub and 5 or 6 games, I'm starting to lose focus. Just do I bear down or do I try to play bishop b6? That's another move. My other brother Daryl. Kind of a lazy man move. It's thematic, but I feel like I had something more. Stuk just suggested it. We're on the same wavelength, Stuk. Horvat David, yeah, of course. I know most of the chess players. Maybe the youngest of the Hungarian star prodigies I might not know. But for the most part. Yeah, T-Dark, I was debating knight e4 and kind of trying to evaluate, you know, the ramifications of d5. Letting in d5 becomes a really big question. But I got to admire the way that Goth Angel has played this for their rating extremely well. Got to give them credit. The credit is due. Almost turning into a Sveshnikov. Way stronger than 1457. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, you know, but I say everybody's great. Just lying to you guys. No, I mean, I really think that Black's played way better than 1457. Not really a consistent move. This is brilliant. I mean, taking control of that. Finally, he made a blunder. He, she. He, she. We'll take it. No back rank mates. Really good game for black. I mean, yes, he made mistakes. Yes, he lost the d5 square. I mean, of course. But in general, for the rating, black played really well to hang in there as long as they did without any serious major mistakes. Arsenal fan, Alms, misclicked, Pichu. Now that I haven't been in Hungary for over a month, whatever, I'm starting to like not pay attention to pronouncing things correctly. So Pichu, it's good to stay in practice. Arsenal fan, Alms, misclicked, who's also supposedly from Hungary. Arsenal fan, good luck, guys. Got time for basically those games. Those last 3, 4. I don't know about that last one. Incorrect. Time control. Pascal. I mean, we say Pascal. Everyone says Pascal or something like that, you know, or Pascal. I mean, it's, you know, hard to pronounce because it's kind of a rare name. Open to interpretation. When we went to like the restaurant and you had to give a name with my family when I was a kid, we were so bored with people like mispronouncing it that we would just tell them like Pascal, you know, or say it wrong like on purpose because it's like hopeless to correct people. Don't tell me it's time for wine again, please. I was trying to be good so far today. Well, I just pre-moved d4 by mistake. Well, yeah, of course it's connected to French somehow. I think the French... I don't know the history of my name that well, but I think that it's probably like a French name that became Anglicanized or something. But I haven't ever really like researched the history of my family name too much. All right, guys. This is a little bit loopy. My knight's on the wrong place. In the wrong place. But Arsenal fan didn't trade queens. I was expecting him to trade queens. So now do we go queen a4 and try to get our pawn back, transposing to like a normal Catalan? I think that would transpose to a game I had with Kosic, my friend Dragon. Dragon BC, the other Dragon. Bishop d7, queen c4. Is Pascal versus Kosic. Which ended in a draw, but I was slightly better. But it's very possible that queen d8 might be a good move. Where's my queen? Queen b6 suspicious. Dragon put his queen on e7, and he also felt like he had misplaced. Displaced aggression. All right. Tricky. So Pascal placed in Normandy. Interesting. On Google. T-Dark looked it up. So Morwa and I go way back. He's from Normandy. My dad was in the invasion of Normandy. We got all kinds of Normandy references. Knight a4. Grabbing the queen on queen c5. Okay, queen b4, queen c5, queen a4. Maybe I should do that. Let's just do that. We'll keep it simple. Keep it lazy, right? Uber driver had to leave, but that's our philosophy. Keep it lazy. Queen b4, queen c5, queen a4, b3. Thank you for the long diagonal and the dark square bishop. Pleasure doing business with you. Should indeed play the French opening. So, but yeah, I guess the name is related to like Easter somehow in Latin. Knight a4. Interesting stuff. Whoops. Arsenal. An homage to my good friend, Arsenal fan, whose position passed away recently. The Arsenal fan position memorial. Panic button. Arsenal fan who pressed the panic button too early. Asterbate, what are you doing? Well, we still have 40 minutes left in the stream, so I'm not going to tune in now. Maybe a bit later. Bishop h4, g5. Knight takes g5, takes g5, bishop g5. Giving material back looks kind of dumb, doesn't it? Keep it simple, guys. Don't get tempted by the evils of the world. Arsenal trying to tempt me into something fancy like bishop h4. I'm up a piece for a pawn. I'm not going to do that. 40 minutes left in the stream, guys. Then yeah, I can speak. But Sunday there's going to be a simul for 25 players. Be here, enjoy it, and don't try to win on time, okay? Be nice to Sladgie. He gets angry when he loses. Keep it short and simple. Interesting acronym. Queen h4. I'd love to trade queens with you, but there's that g5 again. Make g5 great again. Unfortunately, yeah, we're going to play this. We've got e4. It's okay. We're secure. But objectively, this might be a small mistake. It does give him a little bit of pressure on that pin on d5. I don't think that knight d5 was so simple, but I didn't see a great move. Objectively, one pawn for a piece. He's not close to enough compensation. He might be able to pick up a tempo. Some sort of tempo with like rook c8 at some point. I mean, if this was a bullet game, you know, or something, he'd have a decent chance. But this time control, it looks pretty bad for black. There it is, cheapo master. Queen c3, queen b5. Please don't let me blunder. I'm just going to eat your pawn on e5. How do you feel about that? What if I just mercilessly steal another pawn? You know it's over if I trade queens, right? I never miscalculate. Except when I miscalculate. Okay, bishop d5. Must take. Knight d4. Rook f7. Rook f7. But there's no fork there. So simple chess. Just don't be fancy. Fake geometry. This looks good. My rooks are looking good on the F file. I've got an extra piece. The Bishop of Mythical Power. Keeping his cheapo chances alive. I just want to be fancy. Pass pawn. Possibly a mistake, but probably not. Check. Believe in your dreams. Check is mate. Alright, good game. We have 4 left. Oms. It's nice to see Oms because he doesn't get to watch the 5:30 streams. It's too late. So, he actually subscribed. Anita subscribed to tier 3. We had resubscriptions from Bob and another player today. Really appreciate it, guys. I also appreciate the donations. Blubix, Jim, Dragon BC. Don't forget to donate. Cheer your way to the top. Acerbate battling his way up. 97, 87. Sorry, I need glasses. So, International Master Joe Fong, my friend who's staying with me. Don't forget to donate to support Joe. Poor Joe. He took some beatings in blackjack, but it wasn't his fault. It was just a bad run. Acerbated donated 1. So anyway, I brought up Joe because I'm playing the Reti opening. I noticed he brought a book. Does anybody have this book? It's like a French guy who wrote a book on the Reti opening. Now the name's escaping me. French GM, like a young French GM. G3. It's not a Reti anymore. I mean, now it's a Tarash. Transposition. But the Reti Ricard. Pichu says there was a time period when playing Blitz I saw sacrifices available, but I was just scared. Yeah, you have to learn to trust yourself. I mean, that's very important. That's a stage you reach, Pichu. I guess you've passed that, obviously. Where you don't... This is 2 places where I've noticed this with people. Like, one is tactics, another one is the end game. If you don't have confidence in yourself, then you can't play chess effectively. And that goes for any game. I mean, obviously, it would apply in poker or gambling games as well. Or pretty much any game. Any competition, right? Not just games, but if you don't have confidence in your end game, which is one of the critical stages of the chess game, you're going to make mistakes because you're going to be like not transitioning to end games when it's the best move. And if you don't trust your tactics, probably that's even worse. Nice to see Oms playing the Tarash. I love playing against the Tarash. Now you sacrifice. Now I just sacrifice even when it's unsound, but results have improved. Well, I don't think, you know, it's a good idea to make unsound sacrifices on purpose. If you think they're unsound, probably. I mean, there are practical moments. The Tao-like approach or whatever might be appropriate against certain players. Demuth, right? Yeah, thank you. So Demuth is the guy who wrote the book on the Ready. Joe has the book here, and I was looking through it. Interesting. I should definitely absorb some ideas from this Adrian Demuth book. I think that's his name, right? This is a game I had with Lara Ross, this like woman master, who was a student of Joel Benjamin, I think, like 20 years ago. Never heard of her. I don't know what happened to her. Not that many American women reached like 2200. She had been quite a strong junior. I think I beat her in this position. Probably mentioned this before. The practical ramifications of sacrifices. I know there's like an Ivanchuk game in this line. I have no recollection of what I did against Lara Ross. It was so long ago. I know knight f5 is a move. I'm not sure if it's the right move. So anyway, we'll check out International Masters Joe's book on the Réti. He brings his traveling chess library with him. There's always some different selections. That was on the coffee table yesterday. Check it out, because I am playing a lot of Réti move orders. A lot of knight f3, c4 on move 2. We played this once before. I don't know if it was against Alms, but it was against somebody on my stream. Material is overrated. Knight d5, knight d5, queen d5, e2's hanging. You think it was against you? Well, if you have that feeling, you're probably right. Another Tarash, another tough decision. You know, there's a lot of people who would automatically grab this pawn on d5 just for the sake of grabbing it, but I don't think that's the right way to play chess, obviously. So we can leave the pawn on the board, hope that it becomes a long-term weakness. There are other interesting moves. Knight b5. Knight b5, queen b4, knight b5, queen c5. Knight b5, not a developing move. Alright, I don't know what to do. I can take, I'm like okay there. Probably not worse, but black has some initiative. Knight d5, knight d5, queen d5, rook d8. Queen goes anywhere. Black has knight d4, other nasty stuff. So I don't want any part in your d5 pawn. Don't want any part in that. e3 blocks my bishop, but it might be a kind of logical move. It's going to be risky if I do that, though. On the other hand, I'm like running out of time, too. This is a tough one. Not very different from that other game. All right. Decision. A decision has been made. I'm down to 1 minute. It is comfortable for black, and I think that knight f5 is debatable. It might even be a mistake. It's a rare variation. Not many people play bishop f4. That's a sideline. And then this is one of the more rare moves. Then h3, bishop h5. White has to find a better move here. I think knight f5 is probably wrong. Okay, rook d8. Increasing the pressure with d4. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? We got a serious problem now. Alms is playing too well. You're not allowed to do that, dude. Dude. My last move was like stupid. Utterly wasted. I mean, there's no reason for rook c1 now. Be careful your bishop doesn't get trapped on f4. I might as well just omitted rook c1 altogether. I have 32 seconds. This looks awful. Totally outplayed by the crushing Alms. Strong player. Guys, just half an hour left. I only guarantee this next two. The last one I'm not sure about. We'll see if we have time, but I have to leave at 3. Takeback says, what other game? I had another game against Alms probably previously in the same variation. Don't let me forget to like not get my bishop trapped by g5, okay? If he plays bishop h7, I have to play g4 to stop g5. Pretty important stuff. But black is totally comfortable here. You know what? Maybe I could have thought about taking the pawn, believe it or not. That looks crazy though. No. Okay, we'll play next time. Guys, last game, misclicked and the Hungarians. There's that Netflix series, the Americans. This is the Hungarians. Pichu and misclicked. Some Hungarians are more Hungarian than others. I'm an American pretending to be a Hungarian. I often have the Hungarian flag because I'm living in Budapest most of the year. I just update it based on my location right now. I'm in the United States. Usually I'm in Budapest. You suggest a 7-3 arena after this great show for the Sladgie Club. The Sokolov Pond unrated. Bloby's going to create an arena for the Sladgie Club. Team Sladge. Sparkle Horse team. We actually have a team. We don't really do much with that team, but it exists. You guys can also check out the Discord channel. Pub Sladgie on Discord. And of course my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Oms didn't pull the trigger on d4. You know, you feel like he's being a little bit too conservative in a way. Letting me get away with something here. No, that's gone. Very strong knight. What would Capablanca do? I want to double on the C file. I just played Queen A3. It was like the dumbest move ever. I'm gonna get mated on F2 now. I just keep making weird move. Playing into his hands. Oms is being like all sneaky. Oh no, you had that? Game, man, you deserve to win. You deserve to win. It was a sloppy exchange. Alright, we finally got beaten. I did a good job, though, defending. So here I just spaced and played rook takes f6. I just completely missed this bishop takes g2 and intermezzo. I thought I'm just better with two pieces for a rook and pawn, or rook and two pawns. Like, I thought you would just take back on f6 and I would be fine. But you have this move, bishop takes g2, which is awful. I'm just lost. All right, we got beaten down. Misclicked and Pichu, no slouches as well. All right, take back. Rook takes f2 instead of queen takes e3. What was the last move? So it was like bishop takes f1. I exchanged queens on e3 on bishop takes f1. There was no rook takes f2. I mean, you're double attacking me. I think I'm confused. Rook f2, king f2? I don't know. Maybe I'm lost, but I've got to play the next game now. It was stupid because he actually misplayed his position completely. You know, he had lost all of his advantage and he was slightly worse. At which point he had more time, but then I went on this ridiculous tangent with like queen a3, which was really stupid. I mean, it's a nice positional idea, but he just primitively attacked f2. And I started doing all these cute moves with rook c2. It was too much. Interesting. I saw a crazy suggestion of like e4 in a position like this, kind of like the game with Bloby. e4, pawn takes pawn, knight e5. That's really looking a little bit fun. Let's try it. See if we can confuse him. Coffee House. Coffee House chess, Budapest style. Against our Hungarian opponent, we've got one more of those coming up. But Oms takes me out. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. Don't forget, Bloby is starting a Sokolov Ponda Arena. Starting in 30 minutes. 7+3 unrated. Right. Simple. Easy. What's the other? Awesome. Xfinity commercial for internet here in the United States. You wouldn't get that if you're from Hungary. Took me a while to kind of remember it. I watch too much TV, I guess. I really don't, but so much television is just commercials that it's hard to forget. Alright, so misclick just challenges my knight on e5, which is pretty much a bummer. I've been called out as completely unsound. Doesn't seem fair. I'm white. I'm allowed to sacrifice a pawn for the initiative. Damn it. How dare you? How can you do that? It's not fair. Queen b3. How can he have time to play g6 and take a sacrificed pawn? Well, this move is just good for black. The anti-Blubix. I'm playing like it's Weird Wednesday now, just unsoundly sacrificing a pawn. Great. Don't do this at home. Absolutely stupid for white. Perfect defense. Okay, so all I can do is try to be practical. Try to be bogus. Be bogus and equalize my bogus position. The anti-Blubix crushed you. No, it didn't. The truth is it didn't. The truth is you were doing fine, and I mean, you just lost your way in time pressure. The truth hurts. Now e6. That's the kind of move that I'm liking. An unnecessary additional pawn move. Justify white's stupid position. That I like. So I see no problem with knight f6, any kind of normal move here for black. Misclick is insisting on helping me to have an okay game. Still, it seems like black is solid. I can take my pawn back. Knight c6, bc6, knight e4, queen d5. It almost looks better for black as well. Although I'm kind of Blubix, thanks for the donation. Blubix is up to 1,000. We crossed the green barrier. Very important to get to the green for a Sunday stream. Jim is not here today. Dragon BC 500. Alms with 311. Thank you guys. Maybe I should find a way to just continue dynamically here. Stop thinking materialistically. Play Gambit style chess a little bit more. Blubix's cheer rewards to 3 others in the chat. Last challenge against Pichu, another strong player. Sacrificing a pawn, but I don't have enough for this pawn sacrifice objectively. We have some tricks though. Free pawn, no danger at all for black there. After queen d4, it's just a free pawn. There's absolutely no danger. Try this at home. Bishop takes d4, it's also just a free pawn. Nothing bad can happen. I promise nothing bad will happen to me if you play that. It's an interesting position though. Now it's, I think, dynamically kind of balanced because Misclick was nice enough to play e6. Had he not played e6, black would have just been clearly better. Blubix said, let's go 1,000. Blubix, number 1. You better be careful that Hartweiss and Noodle doesn't show up. What is this line called? It's not called anything. It's called, like the other variation, the garbage. Do you want to hear it in French, Spanish, or English? Hungarian. Semit. Known in Hungarian as the Semit variation. French as garbage. It's just not good. He played g6 and he induced me to try something stupid. Normally people play like knight f6 and maybe g6 on move 4. I was like, oh yeah, if he does g6 I can try to be dynamic, but right. It's just an idea I borrowed from a computer line that I saw, but it's not the right position for this to be sound. Move 11, excuse me, move 11 is in the chat. Misclicked like played queen d5. This is like a nice solid positional move. He didn't grab the pawn, which is probably a fairly sound decision. I was trying to encourage him to take the pawn because it was risky. So it's just sadly going to be decided. This game is going to be decided by time, probably. I need to join the arena. You've got like updates for the arena. That's cool. How long is the arena tournament, Blubix? Stop making good moves. Alright, we're going to freeze him. Freeze. Stay where you are. Come out with your hands up. That's it. Everything's perfectly safe. Nothing bad can happen to you. We're just betting on practical chances here. Black king in the center. It's perfectly safe. I like our practical chances. Now the black king is a target. Okay, rook c5. We can bring it back now. I'm not going to be so generous. Good positional play. No back rank. No whammies. I'm pretty tired after this 20 minutes now. 2 hour. Okay, cool. It's a 2 hour arena like I do. Unsound. I mean, misclicked, sorry. I don't know what made me say that. I was speaking to our subscriber on sound earlier. Somewhat on sound, it is. Can I borrow this? Misclicked has potential, but he's still green. He's still a little green. He will be a strong player one day. But he was bamboozled here, getting his king stuck in the center, into getting his king stuck in the center, which ultimately wasn't really necessary. Still, it's not over yet. D5? Can you do that, master? Bishop f4. I don't know. I don't want to get back rank mated, so I'm going to take it easy here. Slow down for a moment. I was looking at d5, ed5, rook d5. Just for fun. It confused me. This is probably completely unsound. We have a subscriber named Somewhat Unsound. This is completely unsound. What am I doing? Wow, I lost my mind. He's gonna beat me. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. It's all in-game technique. You're not welcome here. He's motivated. Highly motivated. Oh no. That pawn cannot live. He lost on time. I mean, king e4, f3 check, king f4, king d3, king g3. King e4, f3 check, king f4. I don't think he's losing here. Apparently I have a move there. What? So he has bishop b6 now. Bishop b6, king d3, bishop f2. Okay, that's slightly better for me. You know, the question was king e4, f3 check, king f4. And I might not have found this time pressure, but apparently I'm better after this. But, you know, apparently he has this move, which sort of holds. King d3, bishop f2. Though I think this is a very technical position where one could easily lose. Because it's easier for me to create a pass pawn on the queen's side faster than he can create a pass pawn on the other side. So one has to be extremely careful in conducting this endgame for black. Great game from black, though. I think my opening was just ridiculous. e4. Basically just losing a pawn. Not a good idea. All right. I was inspired. Let's go, Pichu. Last game. You guys can check out Bloby Sokolov Ponda Arena in 15 minutes. Right after the stream. Winnower with 92. Wait. You're talking about that game? A winner with 92? Oh, I see. Yeah, like not recapturing the pawn on e4, move 11. A little bit. I could see it, how you mean that, but not as good as that. You know, it's just not good. Not good. Unsound. Right, black shouldn't play f5. There's the famous game Alyekin versus Nimzovich, where Nimzovich got crushed. He tried to hold the pawn with f5 in that win-over line, but that's not a recommended idea. The mineral bath, right? The Fischer mineral bath variation in the Caro-Kann. I wonder if Fuchsia knows that. What we call the mineral bath variation. She probably has some weird name for it. E4, C6. It's in the two knights Caro-Kann. E4, C6. Knight F3, D5, Knight C3. Sorry, Knight F3, D5, ED, CD, Knight E5. I don't know if Fuchsia's still here. I haven't seen her in the chat at all. But let's just play this correctly, I guess. I've been playing Queen H4, but maybe Pichu is kind of prepared for that. The Apocalypse attack. Does it have a name? It's really not a big deal. I don't know why Bobby got excited about it. He was enjoying his mineral bath too much when he was pronouncing that to be a very strong line against the Caro-Kann. Probably a lot of ways for black to deal with that. Queen C7, some sort of strange move here. Generally, the queen is misplaced there. Is there a trick? Bishop G5. I don't see any problem with this. Guys, I have a simul on Sunday, 5:30. Queen C7 and Bishop E6. The secret. Anti-Sladgie. English. Typically the queen doesn't go here. Black plays like A6, but who knows? What do I know? Maybe this is some newfangled way to play it for black. Getting hungry, guys. So it's over. The stream is over. Last game. You can check out the Bloby Arena. He's linking the pawn to Sokolov. If Ivan Sokolov sees this online, he's going to be like, what is going on? But Sokolov's tricky because there are two Sokolovs. There's Ivan Sokolov and there's Andrei Sokolov. So they won't know like who it's named after. Don't let me be the only one in there. I'll die fast. Guys, join Bloby and our subscriber Anita in the Ponda Sokolov Arena starting in 10 minutes. Well, I'm sure the players will join. Don't worry. Even if it's players just randomly from lichess. You probably think this arena is about you. Ivan Sokolov will like surf the internet for his name and notice it. What's going on? What is this Ponda thing? All right. But it was there was a secret meaning behind that. We can't reveal the secret meaning. Only the members of the pool drinking club are allowed to know. So Pichu, Bishop F6 is like offer a draw to little kid variation. This is what I would do if I was like tired at a tournament and just wanted to go home. Bishop F6, Knight D5, offer a draw. But objectively, we should try for more in life. Try to get a little bit more out of life. Knight G4 is a problem, by the way. You know, so want to be careful about Bishop E3. Probably this hit here, bounce, and gaining a tempo for black. Thus, Bishop D2 is possibly better. than bishop e3. Well, I suppose I could play bishop e3, knight g4, bishop d4. That would have been okay, actually. Now I have bishop e, with the Aronian like bishop e1 maneuver. Nimzovich versus Rubinstein. Rubinstein versus Nimzovich. I don't remember which one. All right, last game, guys. We're trying to restrict b5. Keep black busy. h3. You guys better hurry up. Supporting b5, but there's no b5. King h2, weakening the f2 square fatally. This is just too passive. What am I doing? I don't know. We're both making like ridiculous prophylactic moves as we wait the other out. Bishop e1, a little bit too much. a4, deep black. Deep black sounds like the Argentinian grandmaster Garcia Palermo. I think that was his account on ICC. Deep black. Sounds like I Am Joe's getting hungry, or there's a rat in the kitchen. I'm not sure which one it is, but got to finish this up quick and make sure we're not under siege, something like that. The munchies have struck. Got the afternoon, do a little bit of housework. I've got my second job at the flea market. We're gonna do our flea market work. Knight d5. No. Pichu being very patient here. I'm trying to keep the tension, but this is an interesting maneuver, queen a7. Okay, e4 is a normal move. I think it's okay. I'm like weakening myself a little bit. Now knight d7. We've been waiting for that. But that's okay. Everything's protected. I had a game against someone on sound. I had a hard time in one of these type positions. We're rolling over to queen f, bishop f2. Subtle Freudian slip. Queen f2. Queen e3 is also possible. The pin. The pin. Tibor Fogarashi-esque. Queen e3. So that's not a happy moment for black right there. He's not a happy camper. He could have a fianchetto knight too, if he's not careful. This looks like an issue. Very similar to our Summon on Sound game that I mentioned earlier. Some sort of f5 might happen. All right. The rats are getting restless. Very restless, kids. I'm going to have to get some big traps for the kitchen. Mouse traps just not going to be enough. These are larger rats. Bishop f2. We're going to catch me a rat dinner. Queen b8. Black is really fishing now. f5 is close to working. There's also just like knight d5 at this point. Probably not too bad. He's eyeing my king on h2. I don't really see how that's gonna happen. b4 could happen. It weakens my position though. f5. If only f5 would work. I could play it, but Is it good enough? There's a big hole at d3. g4 is risky. I want to wait. I want to improve my position here. I want to be patient. How can I be more patient now? Very weird move. Bishop g1. Weakening g3. I just completely forgot he could play this. That's not good. So he actually has a plan. Bad news. Now we're in panic mode. Alright, think Karpov. Pawn takes. It's like a Fianchetto dragon now, but black's alright here. Started making mistakes. Remarkably solid play by black in this game. Rook there. An afterthought. Rook c4 was an afterthought. It's just going to come down to time. He's got knight a4. Not in this position. Do I have a threat? Yes, of some sort. I didn't even intend to attack his rook at a8. This was purely coincidental. Any relation between this game and Ancient Aliens is purely coincidental. He resigned, but it's an inappropriate resignation, kind of like Bob. He's just being kind. He knows I'm hungry. I mean, apparently it's winning for white, this position, but I wouldn't know, like, to play f5 like the computer suggests. Look at this variation. It's like rook b8, f5. I would not have found this. Tearing up the black king safety. I mean, that move like would not have occurred to me. It's clearly based on bishop e5, rook c5, and queen e5. And if gf, I'm just like taking and shredding his king side. Yeah, he ends up with terrible weaknesses. But anyway, thanks for the game, Pichu. Guys, good luck in the Blobies Sokolov Ponda Arena. Thanks everybody for subscribing, and new tier 3 subscriber. We've got resubs. I appreciate you guys. We will see you on Sunday with a simul for 25 players, International Master, William Pascal, and this sort of replacement Ponda here, Macro Ponda. Keeping the Ponda. Okay, guys. See you later. Enjoy the Bloby Arena. Keeping the Ponda fort alive. Move 11. Thanks for joining us. And I will see you guys at a later date. Can I turn this off here? All right, I will see you guys at a later date. Sunday, it's going to be 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You're welcome, everyone. Bye-bye now. Take care.